Hey, I just finished watching Once Upon a Time because I didn't watch it this Sunday because I was watching the Grammys and I'm doing a review on that one. But I'm gonna start with my review on Once Upon a Time. It was a good episode. I loved it. This episode is titled Manhattan is the 13th episode of season not Manhattan, my bad. It's titled Tiny. Excuse me. Backstories in this one is the giant and Jack, because we're gonna talk about Jack and Lisa. And all right, the first episode pretty much starts off with Mr. Gold arriving at Mary Margaret's apartment and sees Emma packing her bags along with Henry. And then he asks like, "Why is Henry coming?" And Emma's like, she tells him she don't want him leave, don't want to leave Henry alone when Cora's in Storybook because it's not gonna be good, and that's her son. You don't want to leave your kid alone when crazy Queen of Hearts slash witches on the loose. Don't want to do that. David then asks Mr. Gold to keep his family safe, and Mr. Gold agrees that he will. Emma and Henry ride along in the car with Mr. Gold, and Henry asks where they're going, and Mr. Gold avoids his question by saying Logan International Airport. Emma begins wondering whether or not the show will allow Mr. Gold to retain his memories, but he assures her that it will. So when they drive over the border and they cross, he says, "My name is Rumpelstiltskin," and they're going to find his son. Back at Mary Margaret's apartment, David and Mary are prepared to search for Cora when they see Regina, who again denies killing Archie Harper, and they apologize for suspecting her and confess that he's alive. They also tell her that Emma has left Storybook with Henry, and Regina's pretty much pretending that she doesn't know her mom's in town, that the Dr. Hopper is still alive, but is very upset that Emma took Henry without being told, and he tell her that Emma really does not need to run anything by her because she's the biological mother. You're just the adoptive mother, pretty much. So then we have David and Snow and Leroy taking Hook out of the hospital and questioning about Cora's plan, and Cook, like always, is being flirtatious, talking about if you want some answers on me, you can let your wife torture me, which I'm pretty sure we'll both enjoy. And he said another thing to her talking about you haven't even asked me about my wounds. She's like, and he's like, well, you could check them for me. I'm like, Hook, stop flirting. Oh my god. But you can't help it. I mean, I would date that pirate. I'm sorry. Who wouldn't date Hook? I mean, look at him. Who wouldn't date that pirate? Anyway, then he takes him on a ship where they find the giant who has been kidnapped by Cora. And the giant is the one that Hook and Emma got the compass from. Yeah. So it's time for a flashback. Backstory time. Doo-doo. Anyway, okay, this is since the backstory is Jack and the giant. We go into the giants first, and we see it's a Bubba Beanstalk, because that's the land of giants. We got the giant celebrating the impending bean harvest with his brothers Arlo and Abraham, and they call the giant that we know, they call him Tiny, but his name is Anton. They call him Tiny because among the giants, he's the youngest. Obviously, he's the youngest, and he's a little bit smaller than the rest of them. So they kind of play well. You know how siblings, family do. You call some your family member a nickname. But you just tease them but you really love them. So when they stand up for a toast, the giants realize Anton has a heart that had once belonged to humans. Arlo tells Anton that while they no longer trade with the humans, they destroy life while giants foster life. And Anton asks about the purpose of growing beans if no one uses them. This silences the giants, who look at Arlo for an answer. He tells Anton that the labor is important. Abraham grabs Harton hops and smashes it to pieces. At this, Anton leaves the feast and walks through the lair. He reaches the beanstalk and decides to climb down to the human world. Obviously, as what Papa Giant just said, due to the nature of humanity, and as we know, as we've seen so far, that the beings do lead to various other worlds. And when it comes to human conquest, and we can even see this with our own history, we go somewhere. Conquer, go, destroy. Conquer, go, to destroy. It's kind of like one of our flaws, so I can see the Giants not wanting to, give people beanstalks, go to other lands and ruin them. That's not smart. And so, when he goes down, he ends up running into James. Now James is Charming's twin brother. Cause remember they was twins. They were separated birth. Charming grew up on a farm. James grew up on the grew up with the king, which almost kind of reminds me of the Prince and the Pauper kind of story. If you think about the way they're being raised, because cause isn't the Prince and the Pauper like one kind of grew up poor, the other one kind of grew up rich, kind of like that. If you think about it, I wonder if that might be I wonder if they might delve into that fairy tale, Prince and the Pauper. I mean, it may be good, interesting, but I don't think, but they never met each other. So anyway, we go back to present day Storybook. Yeah, present day. Hook is continually asked about Cora's plans. He doesn't know anything because he tells him about the giant. Snow opens the giant cage and tells him that it's going to be okay. And he tells her that her name's Anton and asks her if the witch is gone. He soon realizes that Cora has shrunk him inside because he's not big no more. And so when he sees Dave, he knocks it down, James. And then he kind of runs off and says that, I'm going to get you, I'm going to make you pay for what you done. And so Snow and Charming and Leroy go back to the dock about why does the giant, Anton want to, hurt, Charming so much, and they realize that it's actually his twin brother. Then we go into backstory of the twin brother. It starts off with James and this woman and the big, get about to get radar, and then Dad comes in and says that there's a giant, so there's a giant, and we need you to go, handle the situation, don't kill him. Then we have and then we have what was it? Yeah. So they go out and approach the giant and pretend to be friends. Find out the girl name is Jacqueline, short for Jack. So she instead of being so pretty much we have Jack, except they made her chick. So we have Jack, and they pretty much tell Anton, "Yeah, we'll be your friends," and he's like, "Oh, cool." So he goes back up to the beanstalk, and he's like, Dad, humans are not that bad because they told him that James's kingdom is dead, so they need to go. So since he kind of unknowingly led them to the beanstalk, so they came up. Dad's like, "You led them up here," and he's like, and Anton's like, "I already got to go. You don't, you don't have to come up here." He's like, "We're not for the go. We're not here for the go. They want the magic beans." So then they bring up their armies. They kill all the other giants with poison. Um, Jack ends up getting killed by Papa Giant, and she's like calling out to James, and James like, sorry. I'm like, see, that's the same. But you should have known you was just a booty call, girl. Should have known you was just a booty call, Jack. Jack should have known she was just a booty call. So Anton obviously then lost all his family members, and his dad told him to go cut down all the beanstalks. Don't just cut them down because you're the only giant left now. This is your responsibility. And so back in present day, we have um, Regina approaching um, Anton, and she gives him a mushroom from Wonderland. Because in Wonderland, one side of mushroom makes you big, one side of mushroom makes you small. And that's also what they use in the flashback scene for to make the giant small so he could walk around. So she gives a mushroom, but I remember the mushrooms matches on Super. So he gets big. So I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be good. This is gonna be a giant, you know, roaming the streets of Sturford. So we have the giant. He's like smashing cars and So they're like, so he ends up almost pretty much chasing Snow and Charming. Charming tells him I'm making a deal, and he goes and pretty much smashes himself into the concrete. Then he has to become small, so now he's hanging from pipe. Charming has to go down and save him, and they eventually tell him that all humans were not all bad. Some of us are, but not all of us. Not all of us. Not all of us. Not all of us. So finds out that he has one bean stock thing left, and so he goes and plants it with the doors, and doors are like, no one's gonna touch our crops. And he's like, what do you mean our crops? And John's like, what do you mean our crops? So they give him a pickaxe, and you know how they pickaxe, you hold the pickaxe and your name appears. So Tiny holds the pickaxe, his name's on it, Tiny. Then they all start digging and stuff, and obviously you hear the dwarves whistling the song Hi Ho from Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. I'm like, that's cute. I'm just singing along, Hi Ho, Hi Ho. It's off to work we go. Anyway, to Emma, Henry, and Stilskin. Okay, we got them going off to the airport. Rumpelstiltskin, because this is, the first time he's ever left Storybrooke. Emma and Henry, they're kind of used to everything else. Like, they was born in this world, but Rumpelstiltskin wasn't. So they're going through the airport, and you know how you have to go to the, you know how airport security works. You got to put shoes up, you got to take your belongings off and stuff. So Rumpelstiltskin, like, I'm civilized. Like, I can take off my shoes? Why I gotta take off my shoes? Anyway, so then but the problem arises when he has to take off his scarf. Now he needs a scarf to retain his memories. He takes it off, and it's like you start seeing like like he's like starts to get dizzy. Like, oh, I'm like, oh my god, I'm like so nervous. Like at the point I was like, oh my god, hurry go through. Come on, put the scarf on, put the scarf on, put the scarf on. So he puts the scarf on, and then they're just sitting down there waiting out for the board of plane, and he's like kind of impatient. He's just like pacing back and forth, pacing, pacing, pacing. I'm like, Rumpelstiltskin, you're making me nervous, and I'm not even on a plane. Oh, so he goes to the bathroom, locks himself in stall, and starts beating the where they have the toilet seat covers. He starts beating that thing. Then he goes to heal his hand because he didn't bruise it. Come to find out, his magic not working. I'm like, oh my goodness, did something happen within those few seconds without the scarf? Did he lose his magic? Like, oh my god, I can't take this. He's supposed to have his magic. Come on, magic just returned to world. Now he doesn't have it anymore. Come on, stop playing with me. So anyway, they finally board the plane. Henry is stuffing his face with cake. Rumpelstiltskin looks like he's nervous because like he's like, you know how you like. I'm not sure if many of you probably never rode a plane before, but I rode a plane one time. It was like the scariest moment of my life because I'm afraid of heights. So when he's on the plane, he's like how you get nervous when anything you're faced with anything. He's just nervous. It's like his nerves is so bad. It's like he's about to lose it. And you hear the plane getting ready to board off. He just looks like he's about to lose his mind. It's like, oh my god. I mean, then you don't have magic because if anything would probably happen, Rumpelstiltskin was probably just using magic, but then you don't got no magic, so it's like, because kind of like, cause Rumpelstiltskin said it himself. His magic is like his safety net. He said it himself. So I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be good. So they pretty much head to Manhattan, which is gonna be the title of next week's episode. And so, as for Belle, they're pretty much treating her like she's freaking crazy. I'm like, don't treat her like that. Yes, she has no idea that her name is Belle. She's from Beauty and the Beast. Her true love is Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah, she, treat her crazy. I mean, and they're sedating her in the hospital and everything. So the guy who the outsider, he goes into the room and says, "You're not crazy. I saw it too." I'm like, "Oh, this is not gonna be good." And I'm kind of hoping that this guy doesn't kind of like. I'm kind of literally hoping that she doesn't kind of cling to him because she doesn't really remember anybody else from Storybrooke. I'm kind of really hoping she does not cling to the dude because it would not be good for him when Rumpelstiltskin come back and Belle is clinging to you. It's not gonna do. It's not gonna work. If you value your life, you will leave that woman alone. You're gonna sign your death warrant messing with her. I'm just saying. It's kind of like Sesshomaru with Rin. If you ever watch Inuyasha, the anime, every time Rin gets kidnapped, it's signing your death wish. You do not kidnap that little Rin because Sesshomaru will kill you. Same thing in this situation. Do not mess with Belle. Rumpelstiltskin will kill you. He will. I'm just saying. I mean, you could. I mean, if you want to die, you go ahead. You have no other need for life. You go ahead. Go ahead. Anyway, that's pretty much the recap of episode 13 of season 2, Tiny. Next week episode is gonna be Manhattan. Also within this season, we have well, I don't have enough time to say it all on this video, but I'm gonna put it in my in the comments in the comments below. So just read that. It's pretty much information about this stuff upcoming for this season in terms of new characters and search out this within the rest of the season. So see you guys next Sunday. Bye.